Welcome, y'all. This is the Drunk Capitalist channel. You guys might know me from my other channel, but this is my first video for this channel. This channel is going to be all about finances and my financial journey, and I'll be reviewing videos that have anything to do with finances, and this is just how it's going to be. We're going to have fun with this. Today, I have a video because I just had a discussion with one of my friends and they have their own opinion and I disagree totally with what they're saying in regards to PPP loan fraud. Yes, that's what we're talking about today. I am sick of hearing this PPP loan situation. Dear everyone that frauded PPP loan, why? And no, like, why would you ever do this? And why would you think? That's the problem. That's the problem. Y'all thought y'all was gonna get away with it. Y'all actually thought y'all was scammers. Y'all thought y'all were professional scammers and that you could just type whatever in and you'll get all this money and no one's gonna check it out. But my friend disagrees. My friend, when we had a discussion, she feels as though the government set these people up. And to that I say, how? The entire premise behind the PPP loan is that it's for businesses. Most people don't even know what the 3 P's stand for, and they still scam the loan, right? The PPP loan stands for Payment Protection Program, right? So it's for people that own businesses that have employees, right? So when you sign sign up for this loan, you definitely wrote you had employees, even though you probably didn't. Or you wrote more employees than you had, or you wrote more revenue than you had, or you just lied and said you made profit in general. There are a lot of ghost LLC owners out here, like, that don't bring in, a full year's salary, or, they're making like maybe at most $10,000 a year. For the most part, you don't need a PPP loan because you probably have a full-time job. So, with that said, I really want to get into this because it's just like, I'm sick of hearing about it. I'm not surprised. Even I have a personal story where people try to convince me that I should get the PPP loan. Like, and I was telling them, like, yeah, I have the LLC, but my LLC, I made it not that long ago, and I definitely didn't make $50,000, so I'm for real not signing up. And they treated me like there was something, like I had two heads or something, like there was something like there's something wrong with me, that I have the problem that, because I didn't want to defraud the government. And it's like the thing about it is that it's not even good fraud. PPP loan scamming is not even good fraud. And I'm not saying there's a good fraud, but I mean there is good fraud, because if you get away with it, it's good. The thing about it is people think they're going to get away with it, but this is not a good way to try to get away with fraud. When you have to type in your name, your address, the name of your LLC, which is probably named to you and your address, you have to write the lie in there and then probably at the end of it check a box saying that I understand that after perjury of the law or whatever, that I declare all statements in this document to be true. Like, you clicked that button, bro. You clicked it. You clicked that button and you said it was true. You said the statements you made on that loan was true. And you was lying because you wanted the money. You wanted the money, you wanted it quick, and you wanted it fast. And now, they're after y'all. And y'all really thought, because you only got like 10,000 and that they gave it out quick, that no one's gonna come. It's the IRS working in conjunction with the DHS. A lot of people just know acronyms, but they don't know what they stand for. IRS, Internal Revenue Service. They will be after you. IRS does random audits on people that don't even need audits because they're just meant to be random, just in case. They go over everyone's tax return. They go over everything financial. They are the financial trackers of the United States. They know who you are. They have your social. They have your name. They have your address. They know where you ate. They know what you did last summer. They know everything. And they might let you get away with it in the meantime while they're dealing with bigger fish. But understand, small fishes can get fried too. You don't just get away with it. You can't just be like, oh yeah, I only took $5,000, so they're not gonna be worried about me. No, they're going to be very worried. If your taxes is off by $50, they will send you a letter and say you owe them $50. Like, I don't understand why people just, I'm ranting. But anyway, DHS, Department of Homeland Security. Because when you have this amount of fraudsters, there's clearly something going on. And me in particular, I am very, very disappointed in y'all. All of y'all. It's hurting me. Really and truly, it's hurting me. I was reading a story. The reason I brought it up to her is because I was reading a story about a police officer in Arizona, a black woman, and she got caught up in Ppp Loan Fraud. She talking about she had some business. Let me look it up. Cause she's talking about she have some business making bank. You know? And I'm just like, Arizona officer, loan. Well, it's for PPP. You already know what's up. Let's just go ABC 15. You know, former Phoenix police officer arrested for fraudulently more than $1 million in PPP loan. $1 million. The thing about it is that a lot of y'all is greedy. So all these $1 million scammers, they getting caught early. They're gonna get caught earlier than the $20,000 scammers and the $10,000 scam, but they all gonna get caught early. So my friend, her argument is that the government made it too easy for people to scam them. And I agree with that. It was very, very easy to get a PPP loan because all you had to do was apply, and you would, in most cases, get it. Like 99% of the time, you would just get it if you applied. But the caveat to that was that because it was a P situation, you know, the big P word, it's like they did this so that they can get the money out as fast as possible. And that's completely understandable. We were facing a sort of crisis. Money needed to be flowing. This is a debt society. We need to keep money, cash flowing. So they understand that they needed to get the money out as fast as possible. And if you are reviewing the paperwork for 300 million people, it's going to take a very long time, and they just don't have the bodies, nor do they have the capability and the to have all those people in one place because it was a crisis. Like, you know what I'm saying? So the caveat was that they were going to check it out on the back end. They were going to give you what you asked for, and then check it out on the back end. Usually in loans, they check it out first before giving you the money. But I guess the governments operate under the assumption that most people won't do this. I'm pretty sure they know that some people would, lie, steal, defraud, because that's what people do. When they think they're going to get away with something, they usually commit the crime. Now, if her idea is that the government made it too easy, the thing is, what about the accountability for the people that did it anyway, knowing that it was a lie? And why did no one read? Like, what's up with that? Why do we have a society where people just act like things just work out? Like, that you don't gotta read anything, you don't really have to pay attention. Like, I don't understand why people just feel like they'll get away with anything. I don't understand why this officer thought she would get away with this. Tony Richardson and Mitchell, they obtained $1,276,500 in PPP loan money for their business. Court paperwork states that Richardson was 100% owner of the business and didn't have any payroll or employees. Girl, that's the thing, is that it's a payroll protection plan. So if you've never had payroll, you've never paid for payroll, then you don't have the necessary paperwork in order to actually qualify for this loan. So you should not apply for it, because they're going to circle back and ask you for the paperwork. And when it comes to the IRS, right? Like I said earlier, they know what you did last summer. If you tell the IRS that you work a W-2 job, and you get your W-2, and it says you made $60,000. Pretty average for most Americans, right? And then you tell the IRS that you only made $30,000. You do understand that they know you did not make $30,000. They knew how much money you made before you even got your W-2. Why? Because the person that paid you had to submit those files in order for them to do their taxes. So any money that they give to you has to be traced. So they already know how much money you made. So when it comes to the PPP thing and the payroll stuff, they already know you've never paid payroll. Those loan officers through those varying banks, they didn't have access to those IRS files, nor were they permitted to verify most of the information that's necessary to give out these loans. They were instructed to give out these loans as fast as possible. And again, the assumption was probably that most people would not be out here defrauding. Right? So when I saw this, I kind of, you can kind of say it was a setup, but I saw this coming from a mile away. I saw, hey, easy money. There's going to be a lot of fools running and chasing after easy money. But there's nothing in America that is free. They are not giving away free money. I had a coworker trying to talk about, you have an LLC, they'll give you $10,000 for free. It's a grant. You don't got to give it back. I said, girl, it's not a grant. If you even just watched the news for 5 minutes, or just read one article, or just went to the PPP loan page, I could tell you it isn't a grant, right? There is a forgivable portion, 60%, if you use 60% to pay the payroll. But if you're the only one in the business, there's no payroll. There's no payroll. It's just you. Of course, in some cases, in a freelancer or private contractor, independent contractor, there be cases where you can prove that. But then you gotta prove that you have already been making this amount of money and that you didn't just take this loan and pay yourself. Which is what a lot of people did. They took the money and they bought Gucci, they bought Louis, they went on flights, they bought cars. I seen guys buy Ferraris. And this is where I get to the point, I've been talking for a long time, I've been ranting about this, but this is where I get to the point where I'm just like, I'm highly disappointed, especially in the Black community. Because when I really think about this, and when you really dig down deep, I understand that people find themselves in certain financial circumstances, especially with the situation that went on back in 2020. And that, there are cases where some people felt desperate. But I'm more talking about in the majority of cases where people really did this to flex on the ground. And the reason I'm disappointed, because I'm not surprised. This is what people do. This is the culture that we're in right now. So I'm not surprised. But I'm disappointed because people look at the micro situation. I'm looking at the macro situation. We say that the Black community doesn't have the finances or the same amount of capital as other communities. Now, I can understand if you defrauded the PPP loan and you did the opposite of what they asked you to do and, start a business or whatever. If you actually did that, I can give you some grace. But if you went and you defrauded and you went and bought Gucci and Louis and all this stuff, understand that you now contributed to an even worse situation for the Black community, right? And I'm going to explain why. If I go and take this loan money, which is a loan that I have to pay back, and I buy Louis Vuitton, that government money is going to Louis Vuitton. The government comes back to me and says, hey, you need to give that money back. But you already gave it to Louis Vuitton. And Louis Vuitton gave you their sneakers. Louis Vuitton is not taking the sneakers back, and they damn sure ain't giving you the money back. So now you've just literally been a middleman to continuously enrich the other communities for no other reason than fucking the gram. And now you have to bring that money right back to the government and take it right back out. Like, the new money that you're now you're gonna have to make new money now because they're not about to get another loan. You're a scammer. Like, you're not getting another loan. You now have to make that money and give it back to the government. At best. That's if you don't get a record. That's if you don't get 18 months in jail. And now you have a record, and now it's harder for you to get a job and make more money and move up in life and start a business. And you definitely can't start a business if you can't even get a loan in most cases, unless you start in like I don't know what kind of business that you just wouldn't need any type of loan for to grow, or need money. But like now you're gonna have to pilfer even more money out of the community. Had you just not taken the loan and just worked on something and created a business in some sort of way, that would have saved so much money. Because that money initially wouldn't have passed through to LVMH or whatever, and the new money wouldn't have to go back to the government. The new money that's gonna get taxed on top of that. Like, because every money, all the income you get is taxed, and then whatever's left over, you're still gonna have to pay it back. So that's why I'm looking at the bigger picture, and it's just like, why does no one see it? It's just ridiculous. And I get it. We've seen scammers. Like I've seen scammers growing up, college times and all these things, and living a fast life, like making the money quick and getting to the bag, blah blah blah. But bro, it's definitely not worth it. That's all I gotta say. It's definitely not worth it. But let's look at this. Let's check out this video though. Because they're coming. They're coming for you. So they're coming
Who
for
can
you.
forget this now suspended South Suburban police officer? He received money through a COVID relief loan and even denied owning the company. After CBS 2 exposed over 1,000 ghost businesses in Markham, viewers raised concerns over your tax dollars. Tonight, Jermont Terry reveals an even bigger COVID fraud scheme. He is live with which federal agency is now investigating. Jermont.
Erica, the Department of Homeland Security is busy. It seems that people were under the assumption that these COVID relief loans were simply free money for anyone. And tonight, the feds are letting us in
Crazy. Insane. Y'all are insane if y'all thought that.
on how it's cracking down on those who stole from the federal government, and also giving us insight on one of the largest fraud schemes operating right here in Chicago. When COVID hit, people started to mask up, businesses locked up, and the federal government opened up its wallet through COVID relief loans. And the crooks jumped at the opportunity. Is this a sports complex?
No.
First, CBS 2 found businesses that did not exist, but people still got the money. Now it's bigger. Well, it's a huge problem. We've heard from dozens of you since we exposed rampant PPP loan fraud in Markham, with many tips about other questionable small business owners you wanted us to check out. Take Kelvin Dortch Jr. A quick entry into the PPP loan database reveals Dortch received 2 loans for $20,000 each. His application claims he operates 2 barbershops from this house in Dalton. His name caught our eye because we had just heard it from the CBS 2 Morning Insiders, who had been on the trail of a serial mail thief in the northwest suburbs. Postal police arrested Kelvin Dortch Jr. in September after placing a tracking device inside.
This is what I mean. Y'all don't make no sense. Y'all not good criminals. Y'all are terrible criminals. There was clearly no plan here. Like, you were already, and I mean, this is where I kind of get my friend where they feel like, they feel like it's a setup because they did give an obvious, criminal who already got set up with fraud, money. But it's just like, you gotta take accountability for the things you're doing.
These hoaxes, and they picked him up, you guessed it, at the same house in Dalton where records reveal his PPP loans were sent, which begs the question, who's really keeping watch over your tax dollars intended for pandemic relief?
Obviously, the fraud is wide-reaching. It's touched every community.
We now know the Department of Homeland Security is zeroing in on the deception. Special Agent Jeff Strauss with the Chicago Division admits it's rampant.
You see, CBS is trying to like appeal to your emotions and be like, it's your tax dollars, it's your money. No, not really, because I mean, yes, obviously it is, because you have to pay it back in taxes. Everyone has to pay it back in taxes, but they did create that money out of thin air.
This
Let's not
free
get
money,
that
these
confused.
funds are
They
from
created
the
that money out of
taxpayers,
thin
from
air.
your neighbors, from your coworkers.
And Special Agent Strauss tells me it's not just PPP loans. The federal government also allocated more than $200 billion and another type of loan to help small business owners, the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, or EIDL, a favorite for fraudsters.
It's millions. It's millions.
Tens of millions.
Yeah. I was definitely going to go for the EIDL for, my small business, because I still have a W-2 job. And I also freelance, and because the industry that I work in shut down because it's very close proximity and a lot of people together, I couldn't work, and it was obviously freelance, so it's not like they were paying me back any money. But the reason I didn't get it is because at the same time, they also opened up an unemployment for the first time ever, that people that had freelance work could get pandemic assistance, unemployment assistance, or whatever, PUA. And so I went with that option because that made more sense to me, and I wouldn't have to fill out anything or provide any additional paperwork. They already have my taxes, you know what I'm saying? So when it came to just getting unemployment, you could have did that. Other things they did, they also gave an additional $600 a week for unemployment. So in a lot of cases, people just did not have to do this. You just didn't have to do it. A lot of cases. There are some cases where people feel like they should have done it, and they don't have to pay the price.
Directly taxpayers.
Yes. Yeah.
Special Agent Strauss sat down with me to reveal the details of the biggest case in the country right now.
The biggest case in the country?
Happening right here in the Chicago area.
Uncovered more than 300 false applications.
Each EIDL applicant gets $150,000. The quick math shows that's $45 million up for grabs. Sure, some applications were denied, but a good portion have been paid in full. Where do we believe the money is going?
A large portion of the criminal proceeds has left the United States.
Meaning all that money to
Yikes.
revive the economy never made it to Main Street or any street in our community.
We're looking at what we would term as a transnational criminal organization.
That's a fancy way of saying the crooks do not live anywhere in the United States.
It was very easy for these organizations to take advantage of the U.S. government.
Let's break down how this EIDL fraud works. A criminal ringleader first comes up with a fake business, then recruits others to use their real names to take out loans as business owners.
People would go in and they'd be told, we'll give you.
Yep, this was happening left and right and center, and I found myself in the middle of this too. Not because I was trying to get anything, but because I was on Facebook one day and this man was advertising, saying that he could get people, if people would pay him $500, he can get them $10,000. And then I wrote, and I was just like, why would I give you money for you to get me money? And he just attacked me right after that. I'll actually show y'all the photos.
$2,000. All you have to do is sign this form for us.
When the money shows up, the recruited loan
Wow.
applicant keeps a few $1,000s, but the rest flows right back to the ringleader of the criminal organization.
It's extremely frustrating to see this money going to people that didn't deserve it. And then it's just gone, right? It didn't stay in our country. It didn't help our citizens. It didn't help the impacted communities. It's just gone.
Homeland.
Because those are the smarter scammers. Those are the professionals. Because they understood that they would be tracing these people back, so they left the country completely. In some cases, they are never even American citizens to begin with. So it's like they knew, hey, this is easy money. Let me get it and get out as soon as possible.
He started initiating in the summer of 2020. More than a year and a half later, the Chicago case alone is expected to net 24 arrests.
This one case here in Chicagoland is one of the largest cases of this type in the country.
Across the U.S., the feds have successfully charged, indicted, and convicted some in over 400 cases centering around people filing fraudulent COVID relief loans, including Ryan Whitley from South Holland in the South suburbs. Court records show he falsified payroll information, falsified IRS forms, and listed fake employees for his company, ML Exotic Customs, to get a payout for just under $800,000. In all, the feds say Whitley and his fellow defendants stole $11 million, then tried to transfer the cash to other accounts in an effort to conceal and disguise the ownership. Still, Special Agent Strauss says the Chicago case tops them all.
It's now probably being used to further those transnational criminal organizations. That could include terrorism, human trafficking, narcotics trafficking.
And it's only one case he could even talk to me about. Many more under investigation and still under wraps.
To that one person who might say, I didn't realize that I was a part of this magnitude of fraud. I'm the little man.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Investigation. Shouldn't you?
Because you lied. You lied on the application.
Risk?
Whether it was a few $1,000s or hundreds of thousands of dollars, the outcome is the same. You defrauded the United States government, and we will find you.
You heard that. You heard that, right? They're going to find you. And look, this is the tip line number. If y'all know anybody that has committed COVID relief fund fraud, this is the number to call. I'm kidding. I'm not telling y'all to snitch. I also would not snitch on anybody that I know that committed PPP fraud. I wouldn't do it simply because it's just not even necessary. The IRS will catch up to them eventually, and I don't want that karma anyway. But like they said, it doesn't matter how much you took. If you took $1, they want it back. They want it back, and they're gonna charge you with fraud. Like, I don't understand why people do this stuff. But anyway, thank you guys for watching with me. This is a crazy story. This is The Broke Capitalist. Thank you for watching. Cash out.